All right, my Major League Baseball fans. As you saw last night, the last game of the American League and National League Divisional Series was played, which was the Cubs and Brewers. But let's get into it. This is my prediction review for the American League and National League. This is my prediction review for the American League and National League Series, and will be my American League and National League Championship Series predictions. Obviously, I had every series. As you know, I do two different sets of predictions. As you know, this round for American League and National League was the best 3 out of 5. And the championship series, as you know, the American League and National League Divisional round series is the best 3 out of 5. And now, when we get into this next round, the American League and National League Championship Series will be the American League and National League Championship Series and World Series will be the best 4 out of 7. As you all know, I do two sets of different predictions. I predict how many games each series will go, and then I predict the winners. I keep them separate as far as the predictions go, because even if I get the team wrong, but I get the series right, I count the series as right, even if I get the team right, because even if I predict the series to go 5, but I get the winning team wrong, the series still went the number of games I said it would go. So, with that being said, I also keep the American League and National League separate as far as my totals in each league, and then combine them together. So here we go. We're going to start in the American League. Obviously, after the first round, I was 2-0 in the American League for my... So obviously, we're going to call my series predictions now. So if you hear me in these videos now, after this round 2, when I do the review, say series predictions, that's my predictions for how many games the series will go. And when you hear me say my winning team predictions, that's my prediction for what team I think will win each game. So now that that's out of the way, let's get into it. In the American League, after the first round, I was 2-0 for my series predictions, and I was 1-1 for my winning team predictions. And in this round, not so well, but so obviously going into this round, I had both the series. I had all series going 5 games. I had both series in the American League going 5, and I had both series in the National League going 5. And then in the American League, I had the Tigers advancing, the Yankees advancing, and the National League I had and in the National League I had the Dodgers advancing, the Cubs advancing. Obviously, it was the Mariners, Blue Jays. It was the Mariners and Blue Jays advancing in the American League, and it was the Dodgers and Cubs, and it was the Dodgers and the frickin' Brewers advancing in the National League. So let's get into the American League. After round 1, I was 2-0 for my series predictions, and I was 1-1 for my winning team predictions. So obviously in this round of the American League, not so hot. I went for my series predictions. Not good, but I went 1-1 for my series predictions, and I went 0-2 for my winning team predictions. So let's get into that. Obviously, I had the Mariners and Tigers going 5. That went 5, so I got that right. And I had the Yankees and Blue Jays going 5. I got that one wrong for the series prediction. So 1-1 for my series prediction with me getting the Tigers and Mariners series prediction right. Because I did have the Tigers and Mariners going 5, and it went 5. And I had the Yankees and Blue Jays going 5, and it went 4. With obviously I had the Blue Jays. Obviously, I had the Tigers. I had the Tigers and Mariners going 5, and it went 5 with the Mariners winning. And I had the Yankees and Blue Jays going 5, but the Yankees and Blue Jays series went 4 with the Blue Jays winning it 3-1 there. So let's get into it. So after this round, I went 1-1 in my series prediction, bringing my total to 3-1 in the American League for my series predictions through the first 2 rounds, and I went 0-2 for my winning team prediction, bringing my total to 1-3 through the first 2 rounds of the American League for the winning team predictions. Over in the National League, I was 2-0 for my series predictions after the first round, and 2-0 for my winning team predictions. After the first round of the National League wildcard round, I was 2-0 for my series predictions and 2-0 for my winning team predictions. This round, I went. This round, I went 1-1 for my series predictions and 1-1 for my winning team predictions. Obviously, I had the Dodgers advancing in 5, and the Dodgers did advance. I had the Dodgers-Phillies series going 5, but it only went 4. I had the Cubs and Brewers going 5, and the Cubs and Brewers did go 5 as far as my series predictions. And as far as my winning team predictions, I had the Dodgers advancing. I had the Dodgers advancing over the Phillies. Dodgers did advance over the Phillies. And I had the Cubs advancing over the Brewers. My Cubbies unfortunately lost. So that brings my total for this round for series prediction was 1-1 for the series prediction and 1-1 for my winning team predictions, which brings my total for the first 2 rounds of the Major League Baseball playoffs for the National League Series which brings my total for the winning series predictions for the first 2 rounds to 3-1 for the National League, and brings my total for the winning team prediction for the National League to 3-1 as well. So total between the National League and American League. Total between the National League and American League overall for both the National League and American League for the series predictions. I am 6-2 through 8 games, and I am 6-2 through 8 games for my series predictions, or 6-2 through 8 picks, however you want to say it. But I'm just going to say it. I'm 6-2 for my series predictions through 8 games for the American League and National League for my series predictions, and I am 4-4 between the American League and National League for my winning team predictions through 8 games. So 4-4 through my winning team predictions overall between the American League and National League, and 6-2 for my series predictions through 8 games for the American League and National League. So obviously, before I do my picks for the next round, I want to congratulate the Toronto Blue Jays and the Seattle Mariners in the American League for advancing to the American League Championship Series. And I want to congratulate the LA Dodgers. And as much as I don't want to, I congratulate the Brewers with all hate in my heart for advancing to the National League Championship Series. So let's get into the American League Championship Series. We are going to go with the American League Championship Series to go 6 games. I think the Mariners have had a good season. I think the Blue Jays are just a little bit better here. So I'm going to go with the American League Championship Series to go 6 games, with the number 1 seeded Toronto Blue Jays beating the number 2 seeded Seattle Mariners 4-2. Now we move over to the National League, because I will always do the National League Series last because my Cubbies are in the National League. So I will just do that last when it comes to baseball playoffs. And in the National League Championship Series, I'm going to go with the National League Championship Series to go all 7 with the number 3 seeded LA Dodgers beating the number 1 seeded Milwaukee Cheating Brewers in 7. So I'm going to go with the Dodgers to beat the Brewers 4-3, even though I hope the Dodgers sweep their ass. Even though I hope the Dodgers sweep them. Obviously, I'm salty because my Cubs are out, but anyways, go Dodgers in this round. But as far as my picks, who I want to win the World Series, whoever wins the Mariners and Blue Jays series is who I'll be rooting for to win the World Series. But anyways, that's my predictions and my review and predictions for my review for the last round, predictions for the next round. Just to recap: 1-3 for winning team predictions in the American League, 3-1 for winning team predictions in the National League. 3-1 for series predictions in the American League, and 3-1 in the National League for winning team predictions. Overall 4-4 for winning team predictions between the American League and National League, and 6-2 for series predictions between the American League and National League. Y'all enjoy this round of the baseball playoffs, but go Dodgers for the National League. That's all I got to say. Screw the Brewers.